Hey everybody, thanks for coming on today. I'm Mike Crowley with Film Obsessive, and today I'm with the cast of the 4:30 movie, and I only have 10 minutes, so I'll just jump straight into the questions. And a lot of these questions are just for the cast. So uh, this movie is about the theater going experience. And I was just wondering from everyone, what was your most memorable experience going to the theater?
For me, I would say me and my friends in sixth grade, we bought a ticket to, I think, like a PG movie, and then we snuck in to see Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And it was it's still in my top three favorite movies. I don't know if it was because that was one of the first rated R movies I ever saw, but that was probably one of my favorite experiences because the theater was packed and everyone was kind of, it was one of those showings where everyone is kind of involved in the whole theater, and people were just yelling, having a good time.
Nice, nice. Does anybody else have any experiences going to theater that they remember?
You want to take it, Nick, or do you want me to go?
I'd love to hear yours first,
Okay,
and then
I've
Sienna's.
Nick sees a lot of movies, to be fair. I feel like out of most of us, you are the truest cinephile. For me, I have two. The
Careful.
first the first would be when I was a teenager. I must have just turned 13. I went to see Blades of Glory. And I just
Yeah.
remember like never laughing harder with a group of friends. And then the second as an adult would have been seeing Get Out because I felt like
Mm.
Austin was saying, the whole audience was just riding the story the whole time. And it was the most, it almost felt like theater. It felt like the most interactive movie going experience I'd ever had.
Cool, cool.
Good
Um,
answer.
Thank you, Nick.
Uh, so I can just jump straight into the next question. With the rise of streaming, what do you think we're losing when it comes to going to the theater?
Sounds like a Sienna question.
I think it's easy to say community. Like you just like it's an experience and it's not just you can watch a movie in your room all day long and that's great, but you lose I don't know, the whole joy of what it means to be like to watch a movie with like those who are also watching at the same time. I think that just piggybacks off of the answers before.
This film takes place in the 80s, which follows like a real popular trend. Like if you watch Stranger Things or Ghostbusters Afterlife, like they all kind of, or not Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I was just thinking of that because it has Finn Wolfhard in it. I'm like, oh, he's in Stranger Things. So, but why do you think it's such a popular trend where a lot of movies these days are taking place like in the 80s and 90s and like sort of like the era I grew up in?
It's aged long enough. It's finally, it's been long enough for it to have nostalgia. The people that have grown up in those decades are primary adults and audience members. So I think there's a lot of demand for a return to the 90s and 80s, and probably a lot of um, with nostalgia, the idyllic memories and dissatisfaction a little bit, with contemporary stuff. So I think that's a big reason why.
So, what do you think, or I shouldn't say what do you think, but what's Kevin Smith's process like when he makes a movie? I know, like in the old days, like when he made Clerks, he kind of would just like place the camera and film everyone, and then just kind of be like, "Okay, go." And he'd also sticks very strictly to the script. So, I don't know if he allowed any room for improv. What was his process like? Was he just kind of like a film and then like let you go and do whatever you want kind of guy? Or was he kind of like, we're gonna do this advanced camera placement and this is the script and don't break it because it's like the Bible?
I would say he's like tyrannical and fear mongering. Um,
I would never imagine that.
yeah, no, it's really just kidding.
Yeah, no, I feel like he definitely, I feel like on this movie, he was pretty freeing, at least for me. It felt like the only improv that, besides maybe a couple lines here or there, that I tried to throw in secretly without him noticing, acting as if it was like a spur of the moment thing, uh was Justin Long's scene, which was entirely improvised because some of the other scenes he was in got cut, so he just cut together a totally improvised scene, which was pretty. I'd never seen that happen in a film,
Mm,
for me
mm,
at least, that I've been a
yeah.
part of.
Okay. So I have a question for Austin and Sienna. Where do you see Brian and Melody 10 years, like after the movie ends? Do they go to film school together, or do you think they drift apart and meet other people? Have you ever like considered what happens to them far after the credits roll?
If all goes to plan, Melody's a dean, so maybe it's a I don't know. I feel like a film festival, Brian and David, and a little long distance.
Yeah, I feel like they maybe do long distance for a little bit while Brian tried to be like a page at NBC or something, trying to work for SNL, but it probably wouldn't maybe work out. And then he'd go to whatever town Melody was in and then kind of stay with her for a little bit, but then she might get fed up because he's just kind of home all day and he needs to do something, but he's like, I'm writing. And then they have a falling out again.
You have the script written, right?
Yeah, it's a will they, won't they kind of thing.
Right. Right. So why do you think Austin and Melody are so in love with each other outside of having that sort of romantic fling in the swimming pool in the previous summer and both being cinephiles? Like, other than that, what do you think draws them to each other?
I think for Brian, I mean, I think he can kind of be himself around Melody, and she doesn't really judge him as maybe intensely as some of the other people in his life. So even though he's nervous to talk to her because he does like her a lot, I think he's able to kind of almost be this future version of himself that eventually becomes Kevin. And I think she, I guess, lifts that up in a sense and is affirming to that. I don't know.
So, Sienna, do you have any would you know why Melody would be so attracted to Brian outside of loving movies? Because I've had a lot of partners who loved movies, but then there was always something else we needed
Yeah.
in order to, really connect.
I think that Melody is something that's special. She's so sure of herself and what she wants to do and who she wants to be that like when she meets someone like Brian David, who she mentioned it's like he's like the funniest guy she's ever met. But I think what she really means is like that he's so himself, like Austin was saying. And she doesn't want to waste her time. And it's like someone who's so transparent with their feelings. And I think it's refreshing for her and it makes, I don't know, it just brings out that confidence in the both of them.
So, did you guys do any research when it came to studying 1986? And if so, like, what research did you do?
I listen to a lot of 80s music.
Which music? Like, which bands?
I will. I mean, maybe this is very contrary to perhaps what Kevin would have preferred I listen to, but I love Cher, and so does my mom, and I grew up on Cher, so I listen to a
Yeah.
lot of Cher to kind of get me in the swing of things. And also, I think this movie, and Kevin will speak about it too, I'm sure, has like this sort of John Hughesian feel. So I
Mhm.
feel like movies like The Breakfast Club or Pretty in Pink, like they sort of have a similar perhaps I guess tone would be the right word to this movie. So I watched some of those movies as well.
Yeah, cool. Cool. Did anyone else binge watch any 80s movies or stuff like that? I gotta be honest, although I was born in 85, I didn't watch a lot of 80s movies growing up, and now I'm sort of kind of backtracking and going on the wagon. Like I just saw Goonies for the first time, and everyone's like,
Nice.
yeah, everyone's like, that movie's so great. And then I'm like, well, I saw it as an adult, and I just saw a bunch of kids screaming at each other for 2 hours. I don't
I
know.
thought we didn't go in it's not 80s, but I thought it was really cool that one of the first nights that we had all got into Jersey, we went and watched American Graffiti, kind of because it was not 80s, but an iconic teeny bopper movie. And it was really funny. Like one of the first days we were filming, Kevin told Reed and Austin and I to just make, I think he quoted or he specifically mentioned American Graffiti, and what was the other movie he mentioned? But to be
Animal
iconic.
House or something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
He was just like, hey, listen, this is like American Graffiti. It's that. So just be iconic, have fun, see you guys later. And I was like, so it's quite a daunting direction, to just leave to spring on us. But luckily enough, American Graffiti happened to have been re-showing in theaters like that weekend, just by happen chance. And we all went and watched it, and I thought that was kind of a cool experience for us to kind of get our heads into the idea of what we were doing. Not 80s though.
Yeah. No, but no, that one, that was pre-Star Wars when that came out. But
yeah, absolutely.
But it's very much like a sort of nostalgic period piece about someone reflecting on their own childhood, kind of similar to what 4:30 movie does, where it's about Kevin kind of reflecting on his childhood, and kind of I could see how that's an influence. But I actually got a message, and we got to wrap this up. So I just want to thank everyone for coming on. The 4:30 movie. It comes out, I think, next week.
September 13th.
Yep, September 13th. So, yeah, next Friday. There's a lot of movies coming out then. But no, it's fun.
A lot of competition.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff riding on this weekend.
Thanks so much, guys, for coming on. And
thank you. It was fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.